What happens to us when words are spoken? I know that this is, part of the premise of what you say. At a neurological level, there is a cause and an effect. What is the cause and effect, and how does it happen? And is it equal in different people, or does it change with people's emotional states and mental states?
Definitely changes with emotional mental states. And if somebody's got, if you've got damaged areas of the brain like Broca's or Werner's are damaged, then your processing of words might be different. And so you have to be even more careful about how you choose your words with somebody that's got those potential issues. And then you've got to worry about how a word is interpreted within a context, right? So, I simplify it to words are words and we use them in their power or their peril. But really, it's not just the words. It's our tone of voice. It's our pitch, it's our volume, it's our pace. It's, if I want a word to have real power over the crowd, I'll lean in and I'll whisper the word. And everybody wants to lean in and hear the word. And so it gave that word power. So there are other techniques, not just the words themselves, but stripped away. Words are, like I talk about in the book, the code of the brain, to be oversimplified. When we use words, there are experiences and emotions attached to those words within our psyche, within our brain. If I talk about fresh cut grass, then it's going to take you back to your days playing in the GAA, right? It's going to take you to those fresh mowed fields on a Saturday morning, getting ready to play with your mates, right? And so that I attach that word to an experience. So now there's certain words I can attach to experiences, and those experiences then create beliefs or thoughts and beliefs beliefs become these value systems which become how we decide to behave. And then based on that, our behaviors and our actions create habits. And so words end up being this code of the brain. And that's, for me, when we speak to people, we're either triggering a process in the brain or we're laying the pathway of a process by how we speak to those people and the words we use. To get sciencey, skill at its base level, as Daniel Coyle talks about in the Talent Code, skill at its base level is synaptical firing, right? It's in the neurons. And as synapses fire, and it's a clear and effective firing, that's a skill. The better we get at firing and the more often we fire that synapse, the myelin sheath around that synapse gets thicker and thicker. And the thicker that is, it's like an insulation. It guarantees that the synapse will fire effectively, which means we're getting more skill. We're getting better at our skill. We're becoming a better violinist because we're doing this very deliberate practice that's building the myelin sheath. Words help build that myelin sheath. If we use words properly in those situations, we're bolstering that myelin sheath. Or to flip it from a sciencey side, if I yell at somebody, the frontal cortex of the brain, Dan Siegel talks about brain in the palm of the hand, so the processing area of the brain, all of this area, the frontal cortex, logic, rationale, and everything, they're in charge. When somebody loses their temper or their amygdala, when fear is ignited, the amygdala, which is this part of the brain hidden under, is now in charge, and that's the fear center. So Dan Siegel talks about that calm head, that blue head, the All Blacks blue head. So if I yell at somebody, this is what happens. The fear causes this to start working. And so people can't function with their prefrontal cortex. They can't accomplish the skills. And so, long story short, if I yell at people or use negative words while they're trying to learn a skill, I'm actually causing damage to the myelin sheath, as research has shown by researchers like Mark Robert Waldman. So people who are victims of chronic verbal abuse have damage to their myelin sheath. So words can build skill, and at the same time, negative words or harsh words can actually deteriorate that skill firing within the brain.
Yeah, it's fascinating.